And we're back. So, in the last one, I kind of talked about everything I wanted to talk about my video.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was really good on the spot. It just kind of turned into something there.
Yeah.
But I looked at the time, and I was done talking about being at the grocery store, and it was only like 5 minutes.
I saw that too.
And I was like, oh, this is the
I
worst.
did the same thing. I was like, oh no.
So I have another thing to say, and once again I've overthought about it. Poblano's on TV. That's not it, but Post Malone. Man, maybe we shouldn't have the TV distraction. But yeah, we'll try again, and maybe another conversation just appears out of thin air. So I had to clean my tub. Is the entirety of this story, and that's it. So me and Emerson's tub got really gross because the drain got clogged. You know, because between the two of us, I guess I'm leaning towards him, but between the two of us, we shed a lot of hair, and so when you take a shower, even if it's a quick one, which a quick shower for me is 20 minutes, but it very early in the shower, before I even grab the soap, while I'm still enjoying the warmth of the water, it's covered my feet already, the building up of the tub, because it drains so slow.
Oh, yeah.
And then after the shower, for about 45 minutes, the other person can't take a shower yet, waiting for and that just builds up the soap scum and such on the edges of the tub. And we were just using it like that, and since we're switching rooms again, they're getting our bathroom, and so I had to clean it because Kristen and Brady were going to use our bathroom.
Yeah.
And it was a struggle to clean. I was using all different mix and cleaning products on it, as recommended. And I was kind of thinking, like, I was going to tell them all that, like, oh yeah, it was tough to clean, I did a really good job, like, hype myself up, and they'd be like, oh, thanks, man. But they're not going to say that. They're going to be like, yeah, it's your fault, you let it get that.
Yeah.
Which I understand, so I'm not asking for thanks, but I did a pretty good job, I think. And I was like, I don't know how Mom does it, because I was outside the tub, like on the floor, just really scrubbing, and my arm was getting tired, and I was thinking, like, man, if I was in the tub, this would be so much easier. And so I was like, well, I don't want to get, like, wet. And so I basically took a shower to clean the shower. I closed the curtain, and I got naked, and I got in the shower and cleaned the shower. So I was gonna ask you, is that a good move?
That's weird.
That's weird.
Yes.
But I didn't. What if I was showering, and I noticed a smudge on the shower wall? Can I clean it then?
Yeah.
That's not weird.
No.
But I can't take a shower to clean the shower?
Yes. That's incorrect. I feel as though if I got in the shower and I was like, oh, there's a smudge, and then I'm like, oh, wait, there's like 2 or 3. Oh, no, it's like, this is gross. I would want to get out of the gross shower.
And dry off, put clothes on, clean the shower, get back in?
Well, no, I finished the shower.
And I was thinking, because there are some smudges upwards on the walls, and the only way I could think about, I could scrub them, but then to get the soap off the wall, I would have to shut the curtain and use the sprinkler.
Yeah. Mom has a cup.
Oh, the cup. I didn't think about the cup. Yeah. I just got in there. And since I was home alone for all these weeks while everyone went home for Christmas, I would just, like, use the bathroom and stuff with the door open. And so since our our drain was clogged, which I used bargain brand Drano, the giant brand. It worked like a charm. It was pretty good. Very, very big fan of cheapo brands.
Yes, I know.
And it also fixed our sink, because our sink was clogging too. Because you know how manly my beard is?
Yeah.
You know, like one machete stroke off my beard just clogs the sink right up. I gotta get the Drano. And you know, I had to leave my machete at camp, so I've been using a butcher's cleaver.
Right.
I worked this all out in advance.
Yeah, I figured.
It's my comedy routine. Oh gosh. I thought you would see, you kind of sarcastically joined in. I thought you were gonna like go the other way.
You
and, like,
planned
and
the
be
conversation
like,
differently.
You'd be like, wow. You'd be like, yeah, okay. Like, look at your mustache, huh?
Sorry. Look at your mustache, loser.
Thank you. But I don't know. I forced in all the jokes I wanted to anyway. And so unclogging the drain was part of my cleaning, and so I was fully naked, plunging the drain, like bent over,
That's so
and
weird.
the door was open, and like, you know, it's their apartment too. They have the key. They can come in at any time. I was just thinking, like, Brady will come in, and then I look at him with the surprised Pikachu face. But nobody came.
You were hoping the game?
No. I was just thinking about. I was actually thinking about this moment, telling you how much funnier it would have been if Brady had come in.
Yeah, that's weird.
So yeah, I wanted to ask you if it was weird to clean the shower in the fashion that I did.
Yes, I think that's very weird. I think you should.
I think it was
already
very
like
efficient. I think the shower is very clean.
I think you should.
I think I came out a little cleaner.
I think you should have told me that story because you should be embarrassed. I was trying to say something that had nothing to do with your story and I forgot it already. Do you want me to retell my lemon story?
I don't know. If you think you can do it well, you may retell the story.
What?
Not that you did it bad the first time, just, you know how if I were to retell a story, I think it would suck the second time. Well, do you think you get better at telling stories?
I don't know. Matt Schaefer kind of brings me down with.
No, not you and your own personal skills. Just like, if theoretically you had a story and you told it to a friend, and then you go to the second friend, do you think it's better?
I think for me personally, it does get better because the first time, all my thoughts are all over the place. And by the second time, I know what the first person's reaction was, and I use that, and I know that I was all over the place because I'm bad at telling stories, and I can apply my skills.
Well, I think I'm excellent at telling stories. And so the first time, so if I think about what I'm going to say beforehand, I try to stick to that plan, and it takes away from the spontaneity. And it ruins the delivery on a lot of my jokes. Because I'm like, okay, now I gotta prep this next part. But if I just kind of go into something, and I haven't really thought about it much, haven't talked about it before, it goes really well. And then I read the reaction of my audience. Very positive. Yes, people clap when I tell stories.
Yeah.
And man, see, if you're not my friend, and you don't already know that I think I'm hilarious and I hype myself up about it, this is really weird to hear. Like, it's like, wow, so far this guy has told terrible stories, and I think part of the story is me thinking it's so great.
Yeah.
But anyway, then I go to tell it again, and I'm like, ooh, all right, gonna hit him with this punchline that I hit this other friend with. Here we go, and it doesn't land as well.
Yeah.
I'm like, what happened?
Yeah, I feel like.
So I think I get worse as I
I get better. I think.
The more rehearsed it is, the worse it goes for me.
I think if I try to do it spontaneously, I forget a lot of parts, and then I'm like, oh no, I need to tell them that. So then I go back and I go over that, and then I'm all over the place, and that's why you and Matt would make.
What I do is I over explain to make sure I don't miss any parts, and everybody knows all the elements of the story, so that when I get to the punchline, they know why it's funny. And sometimes you can tell that they're not really digging the setup, you know, when you're just explaining everything so you don't miss any. And that's when you kind of hurry it up and there's pressure. And so what I think I do well is the part of the story that's not the funny part of the story is you make that funny. So when you're telling all the details, you know, and all you have to really do is change the tone of your voice sometimes, and it gets people.
Yeah.
And somebody who's really good is Norm Macdonald, is a comedian. He goes, his best stuff is on Conan. Some of his stand-up is so slow that I don't even like it. But what he does is he tells a joke, and it takes him 10 minutes to just do the one punchline to the joke is like, why did the moth do this? It's like, why did the moth go to the doctor? And he's like, because the light was on, because moths like lights.
Yeah.
And so that's a terrible joke.
Yeah.
But he builds up the story about this moth for 10 minutes, and he makes it funny the whole time, and then at the end you die of laughter to the terrible punchline just because it's his whole thing.
Yeah, I feel like if I can tell that the other person's not digging the story, I just end it real quick, and then I'm like, actually, I don't know, that wasn't that funny as I was thinking. And then I make them feel as though I'm in on their thinking it's not funny, even though I thought it was hilarious. That's how I started the conversation.
I feel, and so so in your head you still think that it's funny.
Yeah.
That's how I always feel. Yeah, I feel like I blew it at that point. Like, man, you guys really missed out on some gold there.
Yeah, when I'm driving home with Emily from school and I'm telling her something that happened at school, and I can tell that she doesn't think it's funny, but I was there and I know it was hilarious. I'm like, actually, that wasn't that funny, never mind. And then I just end the story, and because it was so boring for her, she's just like okay with like not hearing the whole story.
Well, the thing is, I know what frustrates me is I know that you know what's funny. So I know that if you could just explain it to me, there'd be some gold there.
Yeah.
But sometimes you can't.
Yeah, I know.
And how do you feel if people are like, how do you feel about if somebody's like, well, especially the line "you had to be there," as well as like, "Oh, this is really funny," or like, because when I tell a story and it flubs, that's one of my most embarrassing things. I really hate that. I'm so animated when I tell a story a lot of times, and I get so into it, and I'm really loud. My friends yell at me because we're at a restaurant and I talk very loud, so the other tables start to look.
Yeah.
And so a lot of times I can get the whole room to be looking at my story, and when it fails, it's like you're doing really bad at a school presentation, and it's really embarrassing, and I hate it. But what I try to never do is be like, oh, it's funny, like.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever said either of those two things.
Like what they do is they tell, like, oh man, he said this and it was so funny, and you're like, no, clearly it's not funny. I didn't laugh. Like what?
Yeah, I never go with. I mean, I think maybe I can't think of words to say, and then I'm like, and it was so funny. I did this.
Okay, yeah, I've had those experiences. And I've been like, dude, wasn't it so funny when this happened? Like, for a story they've been through. And I'm not saying you can't say those words, you know, because I think Norm Macdonald is funny.
Yeah. I think I probably have said, I've said it in the sense that you're talking about, like I've done it, and then I know that I'm the only one who would think it's funny if I said something like that. You know what I mean? Like I'm the only one who knows why it's funny if I use that line. But
that's what a lot of bad storytellers do, is they reach the conclusion of their story and then they announce to everybody, and it was funny, and then you're supposed to, do I laugh at that?
Yeah, I feel like sometimes I panic at the end of my stories that go nowhere. I've never said, I can put on the record, I have never said you had to be there.
You had to be there.
I don't like that. That's like, if I had to be there, then why'd you tell the freaking story? So
Very true.
I've never said that. But I probably have gone with the, but it was really funny. I probably have gone with, it was really funny at the time, but that was a lame story. Like, I admit to how bad my storytelling was.
Well, another important part of it is, if somebody says something and they might mean it a different way, but you understood it a certain way, you can retell the story as if they did say it that way.
Yeah, I do that.
And so a lot of times, this isn't even that example, but it's similar, I guess. I'll be like, and then the teacher was like, all right, we got to do 10 pages of homework. And I was like, 10 pages? And then Emerson would be like, you said that? And I'm like, no, Emerson, I clearly did not. Or be like, and then I said, F that, right?
Yeah.
And Emerson's like, you said that to the teacher? I'm like, no, I didn't. Like, clearly, this is a storytelling element.
Yeah.
In actuality, I said, yes, sir.
That happens to me often. I say in my story, I say things that I've said in my head, like my thoughts of what I said, and if they call me out on it, I'm like, well, no, I didn't really say that.
Yeah, I was thinking it.
I was just thinking it. But if they don't call me out on it,
then you walk away like a badass.
I just let them think that I did that. Because I can tell that sometimes, like, if I'm telling this story to, like, Emily and Sophia in the car ride home, and I say, like, and I said this, you know, I didn't really say it, I'm just thinking it, I can tell that they think I've said it.
Wow,
and I
you got them on the ropes.
Yeah.
The thing is, the things I pretend to say are so far-fetched that Emerson, like, some people you tell know that you're not, some people know you're not serious.
Yeah.
And the people who think I'm serious don't believe it.
Yeah.
They're like, that's crazy. And I'm like, yeah, I know. I'm making it crazy on purpose.
Yeah, if I tell Erin a story and I say something that's far-fetched that I would never actually say, she gets it. Like, she knows that I'm just joking, and she laughs, because then it's funny. And she's like, oh, I would think the same thing. So I think it's my audience I need to target.
Oh, I'm very good at the audience targeting, I feel. I use the lingo that each group uses. I'm a totally different character in each room.
I think I have a story that I want to share with everyone, and I don't even care if I think they're going to like it or not, and that's where I fail. Because Erin usually
that's very important. Would you share all those stories with Dad?
Sometimes at dinner, I, like, tell a story.
And it's always, you had to be there.
Yeah, it's like, Mom will laugh with me.
I don't know how to make Dad laugh.
Oh.
Do you have stories that work on him? Because all you have to do is, like, sass him back at the dinner table, and that gets a chuckle, but... Yeah. I've had stories where I've knocked my friends dead. I get you and Mom, and then I'm like, here it is at the dinner table, and I sit right next to him, and I'm like, and I choke immediately, you know, and he's just looking at me like, why are you telling me this stupid story? And you know, and I like go da 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 da, and I do the punchline, And he's like, okay.
No, I think Dad likes
Or he just eats the sound.
Yeah.
That's his response to a lot of the things I say is continued salad eating.
I think every once in a while I know a good one, something that happened at school. Usually he thinks it's funny if there's a fight at school, which isn't really a funny joke that I would tell.
Mm-hmm.
But he'll think that's funny. Like,
all you got to do is say there was a fight at school.
Like, man, everyone stopped in the hallway and like it was a big commotion. Like, that's funny that happened.
That's what he says.
Yeah, like not that.
Like I'm saying you don't even say that part. You just say there was a fight in the hallway, and Dad starts reminiscing about all the fights he's seen.
Yeah. Or like something stupid some kid said in the class. You might think it's funny.
Oh well, that's what I used to always try and do. He's be like, oh man, because I'd be like, Ryan said this funny thing, and he just looks at me, and then he says something to Mom about work. And so yeah, with the audience, with Emerson, it's kind of like talking to you, in that we just kind of have a conversation, and once in a while he thinks something I said was funny. And with Chris, it's like I have to purposely make jokes, and so I'll do a stupid joke on purpose, and he kind of laughs like, I can't believe you said that. Preetam and Vinay, I act kind of extra. At work, at old work, new work, I don't really talk to anybody. But in the kitchen at school, I used to always like, I would just purposely be randomly goofy, and everybody loved that. And it was just, I just tell them like my favorite movie is Wreck-It Ralph, right? And they're like, "You're 21, that's great,"
Yeah.
And so that got them. I just the weird guy, and I can't crack Dad.
I think I guess I do the same thing.
Oh, my secret weapon is that actually does get Dad to laugh. Is he tells me a story, and I laugh my laugh, my true laugh, and that gets everybody.
Yeah,
that's my secret weapon.
Your true laugh. I guess if we're going on joke wise, I target my jokes to
the group.
I would say, like, if something happened to me that I thought was funny, and I'm not purposely, like, I'm trying to entertain my group of friends, but it's not something I came up with. It's like, I saw this happen, it was really funny. Then I just tell it, and sometimes I don't think it's funny. You know what I mean?
Alright, I missed a lot.
Okay, so...
This is a joke or a story?
A story. If I saw something funny that happened.
Yeah.
And I want to retell the story of what I saw.
Okay.
It's funny to me. I saw it was a funny thing that happened, and that's what some of my friends don't think are funny. The story I told.
A story that you're not involved in.
Yeah. But if I'm like telling a joke about something,
it's so jokes / stories that you're in, they like.
I target to the group.
Oh.
Like, I make specific jokes to my friends at dance.
Oh, so stuff in the moment.
Yes. Stuff in the moment. I guess that's what I'm trying to say. I would say things to my friends at dance that I wouldn't say to.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Them. So that's kind of that's what you were just saying, no?
Yeah. That's yeah, that's what I was saying. But I was some stories don't make the cut. Some, you bend the story into the style of joke that you do with that group. But some stories just don't, the punchline of the story, it doesn't fit. So you can't. You can't twist it into something that works.
I very rarely would twist a story to tell my friends. make them laugh.
You know, in some groups, you tell the story with the F word, and in some groups, you change the F word to fudge, and it's just as funny.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I tell the story the same exact way to different groups, and that's what knocks me down. Because no matter how I tell it to Erin, she understands why I think it's funny, so she laughs. But if I told the same story to, like, Gabby, she probably wouldn't think it's as funny as if I said it differently. Which I won't do. I won't change it for her liking. I will do it. Yeah, I'll do it for my liking.
You won't change the merit of the story.
And like my friend I sit with at lunch, if I tell her a story, if I start getting loud and intense into it, she laughs because she thinks it's funny. And so that's like my extent of...
Like louder is better.
Yeah. I'll be like if I get really frustrated in my story that I'm telling, or I guess if I get loud, and I like make it known like what I want you to think it's funny, I start talking loud, that she laughs.
So do you think she's laughing at you? She's pity laughing? Is what you're saying to me?
I'm saying
You're saying you make it very clear what you want her to laugh at, and she laughs. Right? Is that not the sentence you just said?
It's probably the sentence I said, but it's not what I'm thinking in my head. Like, sometimes bad things that happen to me, like me getting frustrated, is a funny story because I was frustrated, and those are the basis of most of my stories. And so if I tell her that story, instead of just telling it like I usually do, I get louder, as if I'm in the story being frustrated.
Yeah. That's how I tell all my stories.
That's not how I tell my stories. I just tell them. Like I'm just talking.
You're just like,
Do you understand now?
Well, yeah, the more opportunities in your story where you can be like, and then I was like, and then they said this, but I was like, and then that's like, I don't even, you know, like when you say things out loud, but you didn't really say them out loud. I don't even think the things until I'm telling the story. Because if my boss is like, you have to do all this work, I kind of get a little frustrated with it, but I don't even think to talk back to them. I just be like, okay, now I'm doing all this work, and then as I'm doing the work, I'm like, this sucks, blah blah blah, and that's what I put in the story, right at the point where the boss says something.
Yeah, I'm not as good of a storyteller, so I don't think to do that.
I'm such a good storyteller that I also don't think to do that.
Okay, well, you don't have to come for me like that.
I didn't feel I was putting you down, I'm sorry. I felt I was putting myself up.
I mean both, you know. You win some, you lose.
Look at that dog shivering.
Stop. Yeah, Erin's dad was like, Erin, look at this post, and it was like a dog that like needs a home, and Erin was like, oh, I want this dog, and then she went to turn it to me. She goes, oh, Hannah won't care, and she turned it to her mom. It's like, look, we need this dog, you know. Not that I'm a dog hater.
How do you feel about in the story when somebody's like, this really annoying thing happened, and they tell a story? What reminded me of it today was we were in the car, and a commercial came on about getting sleep, and it had the alarm in it. And so it's like, we here at this company know the alarm is a very annoying sound, yet we're going to play it for 3 seconds in our radio ad. And I got to sit there and listen to it. And it's like, I don't know why people, I get why people choose to tell that story, because it's like a frustration story where you got upset. But it's like, it's not an upset. I don't think there's any funny side of it. It's just like I was annoyed. Maybe you can say that you were annoyed and try to work something out of that, but it's the part where you do an impression.
Okay.
And you're like, it's just like if you thought the what's her name on Friends that Chandler dates? Is it Janet?
Janice.
Janice.
Mm-hmm.
And you were like, you do the Janice impression.
Mm-hmm.
What does she do?
She laughs.
Yeah, so you do that, right? And you're telling a story and you go, and it's like, it was so annoying. And the people hearing the story are like, yeah, it is annoying. Shut up.
Yeah.
At least that's how and I could be honest, in that moment, I am thinking that. Like, yeah, I understand, like, don't, and someone's like, oh man, it was so annoying. He said, and I'm like, oh, please don't say what the annoying thing that he said, because I really don't want to also be annoyed.
Yeah. No, I understand that. When if someone's just like, I guess that's kind of more of like, they're just ranting.
Yeah. And a lot of times a rant is good, a rant is funny. Oh, I was gonna bring this up earlier. In a rant, sometimes they rant a little too hard, and you're like, do I laugh?
Yeah.
Sometimes you really do feel them, and you also know the BS that they're talking about, and you join in, add your own little anecdotes.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes they're in a light enough tone so that you know they're a little upset about it, but you know to laugh. They're purposely trying to be funny. I try to bring that across. I get mad, people laugh, it's okay. I'm not even mad anymore because I got somebody to laugh. But sometimes they're like, and I'm like, ha 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 ha.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I feel like I just laugh anyway. Like, ha, ha.
Yeah, I don't know, man. Sometimes I'm laughing, and I'm like, man, do I stop laughing, or do I go, that sucks?
Mm.
And another story I don't like is did you hear this terrible thing on the news? And then they tell me a sad story. What do I say?
Yeah.
And that's not a funny story. I know that. I'm not going, ha ha, what an idiot.
Yeah.
Died in a fiery car crash? Holy.
Yeah, you just go with the, oh my gosh.
Well, I don't have those. I need to come up with good catchphrases to use for that.
Yeah. When, like, if, like, a friend's parent is talking to me, and they tell me a story that, like, I don't find interesting, I'm just like, wow, like, that's...
Well, if you said that to me, I'd know you were messing with me.
Yeah, but I'm good at it in the moment.
This,
I'm like,
Some people I can tell, I forget, one of my high school friends who, I haven't talked to since then, used to, for the longest time, they were hitting me with a response like that, like, wow. And then one day I noticed the way he was saying it, I was like, you mother, every time. You were messing with me. You didn't really care. And so I'm still not good at picking up on it, but the one guy at work, he's got a really good one. He goes, really? No matter what you say, how lame it is, he go, really? Or today he was like, are you serious? or actually, I guess it was like Thursday or Friday, and it's good. Really. He caught me a bunch of times. He said, really? And I was like, yeah, really? Like he really egged me on, and it was good. And like I felt appreciated. Yeah. And then one time I said something that I wish I could have taken back and said again in a funnier manner. Yeah. But I just said something boring. Just a random stupid fact for my day. I think I said like we were talking about like fake football jerseys or something. And I was like, oh, my aunt got us those from China once or something. Because didn't Aunt Sarah buy, like, cheap purses in China?
I think she did.
I said something about that. I was like, one of my aunts bought a shirt like that, right? And then immediately I was like, oh. And he went, really? I was like, all right, he's messing with me. I know it.
Maybe he really thinks they're interesting.
No, his tone, there's no way. And so I'd like to work those into my game too. I'm not good at faking interest in other people's stories.
I
have a decent pity laugh.
Mm.
But the sad thing is, a lot of people think my pity laugh is my real laugh. You know, they live a sad life.
That's really funny.
And I think I told you this before, but I'll say it again for the podcast. I was actually talking about that with this one guy at work. I was like talking to him about someone else I didn't want to talk to.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, man, I only have so many pity laughs I can use on him, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And he laughed at that, and I was like, you know my real laugh, man, because he got me to laugh one day and then made fun of me for my laugh.
Mm-hmm.
And then this other guy came up, like, as we were talking about that, and said something, and I pity laughed him on the spot.
and he walked away, and he was
and I was like, I don't think, something I do at work is, we'll be having a conversation, and I totally don't need to, but I'll grab a box and go do my work so I can get out of it. Like, work's here, I gotta go, you know?
Yeah.
And so I pulled that move and forced my friend to talk to that guy, and I, like, looked at him like, well, like, you know, see what I mean? Good luck with this one, you know? Alright, you think we're good?